Let's be real for a second. Most of the AI voice agents we interact with today are, well, they're pretty terrible. But here's the secret. It's almost never the AI's fault. It's because we are evaluating them completely wrong. So today, we're going to break down the definitive framework that separates the agents that actually work from the ones that just drive customers crazy.
I want you to really let that sink in. The models we have now are incredibly powerful. The tech is there. So why are so many companies shipping these broken experiences? It all comes down to a broken evaluation process. We're literally staring at the wrong dashboards while our customers are having just awful experiences.
And believe me, the stakes could not be higher. I'll never forget this call I got from a COO. A customer of theirs had spent four agonizing minutes trapped in a loop with their brand new voice agent. All the customer wanted to do was cancel an appointment, but the agent just kept trying to upsell them. And the worst part? When the product team checked their dashboards, all the metrics were green. That is a complete, catastrophic failure of evaluation, and it is happening everywhere.
So here's the thing you have to understand. Voice is not just a chatbot with a microphone attached. It's a completely different animal. With a chatbot, a few seconds of delay is fine, no one really cares. But in a voice conversation, a 1-second pause feels like an eternity, right? It's real time, it's interrupt-driven, and it's deeply human. The rules are just completely different, and your testing has to reflect that.
This brings us to the very first layer of our framework, infrastructure. The best way to think about this is like the foundation of your house. If the concrete is cracked, I don't care how amazing your furniture is, the whole thing is coming down. This is where calls live or die before a single line of AI code even runs.
These metrics you see here, they're totally non-negotiable. Packet loss, that's literally pieces of your customer's voice getting lost over the internet, that needs to be under 1%. Jitter, which is the variation in when those audio packets arrive, has to be under 30 milliseconds. Any more than that, and the audio just sounds garbled. And you have to test on real, crackly 8 kHz phone audio, not the perfect, clean 16 kHz audio you get in a studio. A bad phone line can make the world's smartest AI sound completely broken.
Okay, so once that audio pathway is rock solid, then we can start to look at the AI itself. This is layer 2, agent execution. And here, we're asking a pretty simple but really critical question. Did the AI actually understand what the user wanted and do the right thing? This is what most teams spend all their time on, but as you're about to see, it's really only one piece of a much bigger puzzle. As you can see from this breakdown, execution isn't just one big, monolithic thing. It's a chain, and a break in any single link, whether it's the speech-to-text getting the words wrong, the LLM failing to reason correctly, or a tool call failing, it breaks the entire experience for the user. And this is where we have to be brutally honest with ourselves and our metrics. It worked in the demo is maybe the most dangerous phrase in all of AI. You need a word error rate below 10% on actual, noisy phone audio. Otherwise, you're just feeding garbage into your LLM. And this is exactly why red teaming is so critical. I mean, look at that number. Unhardened agents fail almost 20% of the time when you throw tricky or unexpected requests at them.
All right, so your infrastructure is solid, your AI is technically accurate, you're ready to ship, right? Absolutely not. This brings us to layer 3, which is arguably the most important and, honestly, the most overlooked layer of all, the user experience. This isn't about what the agent did, it's about how the entire interaction felt to the human on the other end of the line.
If you only remember one number from this whole thing, please make it this one, under 800 milliseconds. That's your time to first audio. Just think about the last time you were on a call and there was that awkward, unnatural silence. How did it make you feel? That's what your customers feel when your agent crosses that 800 millisecond line. Once you get past a second and a half, their brain literally flags the conversation as broken, and they just hang up.
And this is exactly why I have a love-hate relationship with metrics like word error rate. Yeah, on the surface, it seems useful, but it is completely blind to the things that actually make your customers furious. WER doesn't see the awkward silences. It doesn't measure that painful delay when a user tries to interrupt the agent. And it definitely doesn't catch that moment of peak frustration when a user just gives up and says, "Let me talk to a person."
This brings us all the way to the top of the pyramid. Layer 4, business outcomes. Because look, you can have perfect infrastructure, flawless AI accuracy, and a beautiful user experience, but if the agent doesn't actually achieve its business goal, it's a failure. It's a technically brilliant, very expensive failure.
The ultimate metric here is your containment rate. What percentage of calls are completely handled by the agent without needing to escalate to a human? The industry average for this is, frankly, embarrassing.
It's around 55 to 65%, and the reason for that is simple. Most teams aren't evaluating across all 4 of these layers. A well-designed, well-evaluated agent should be clearing 75% easily. That's the difference between a cool science project and a real business asset.
So if you're a product leader, an engineer, anyone working on a voice agent, I want you to burn this idea into your brain. Technical success is not business success. You can't just ship a model and cross your fingers. You have to connect every single layer of your evaluation framework directly to the value you're supposed to be creating.
Okay, so we've covered the what and the why. Now, let's get practical. Let's talk about the how. This is your playbook for getting voice agent evaluation right, and it starts with the first big decision every single team faces.
But before we dig into that, let me tell you a quick story. It's about a dental practice called Media Brite Smile. They had a massive problem with patients just not showing up for their appointments, a no-show rate of over 14%, which is just huge. So they deployed an agent that was built and rigorously tested on this exact 4-layer framework. And just look at this chart. That number dropped to under 6%.
And the results were just incredible. It wasn't just the no-shows. Their appointment fill rate jumped a full 20 points, from 74% all the way to 94%. They saw a 57% increase in monthly revenue, and they freed up 28 hours of staff time every single week. This is what happens when you catch the infrastructure, the execution, and the UX failures before you go live.
So, back to that big question. Do you build or buy your evaluation system? Just look at these numbers. Building it yourself is a massive project. We're talking 6 to 12 months and $500,000, maybe more, just in the first year. Or you can use a platform like Hamming, Braintrust, or Future AGI and be up and running in less than 30 days for a tiny fraction of the cost. You know, for most teams, the choice here is pretty obvious. You buy. The time to value and the cost savings are just too compelling.
So what can you do right now, today? First, go audit your current system. Be ruthless. Go listen to your actual call recordings. Where are those awkward silences? When are customers trying to interrupt the agent? Second, start using synthetic data to test for all those weird edge cases that real callers always seem to find. And finally, you have to elevate your thinking. Start tracking and reporting on the business outcomes that actually matter, not just the vanity technical metrics.
Let's just end on this thought. If you are not evaluating across infrastructure, execution, user experience, and business outcomes, you need to understand something. You are not deploying a helpful tool. You are deploying a liability, one that's just waiting to damage your brand and frustrate your customers. The 4-layer framework isn't just a nice-to-have. In this age of AI, where customer expectations are higher than ever, it's the only way to win.